Hey guys, happy Friday, happy TGIF, as my friend um, engineer wannabe Sandra would say. Uh, yeah, I just heard some music. Okay, welcome to another Friday Night Watch Talk. I am joined by my good friends Chaz and Marcus here. We're going to start off with Watch Talk. We're going to do mostly Watch Talk, everyone. At the end, we'll talk a little hot D, but that's more towards the end. So don't worry. I know I get a lot of I've been getting a lot of feedback saying, "Come on, more Watch Talk." But you know what? It's mostly Watch Talk today. Don't worry, it's mostly Watch Talk anyway. Chaz, how are you today, man? What's going
Good.
on?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good to be here with you and Marcus tonight.
yeah.
We got the
Oh,
peacock,
oh, congratulations. Yeah,
uh,
awesome.
and I
What?
put it. Well, look here.
Well, look at
Oh
what?
boy.
Who's a?
Hey guys.
Hey,
Who is that?
Hey, Jeff.
who's that guy down there? Holy cow. Okay.
Is this
We're-
Dungeons and Dragons?
It is. And
Yes.
Awesome.
Dungeons
I'm
and
in the right
Dragons.
place.
Oh, I was gonna say, Chaz, it's sweatshirt weather, man. You got your sweatshirt on, I got my sweatshirt on. We're getting chilly
Pre-gaming
nights
it.
here.
Big weekend for the Vols. So
Oh yeah, who
got
who
to
they playing?
they play a little team from Gainesville,
Oh,
University of
Florida.
Florida. Yeah,
Yeah, big game, big game.
yeah. Big game on the
Um,
hill.
we play Iowa. They come to us, so we'll probably get killed. Anyway, Marcus, how are you, man? What's going
Good,
on?
good.
The rogue horologist. Um, what do you got on wrist tonight,
Uh,
Marcus?
New watch alert. I just
Oh,
thought I'd
Oh,
show it
nice.
here.
Oh
oh
man,
yes.
Mm,
Let's
Yeah.
see that.
So we got
beautiful.
Do tell
it's
us.
the Tritone Speedmaster. Sorry, Seamaster.
So
Nice.
what led to this? I mean, you had the Nikon before.
No,
The
that was Sanjay.
Becton.
oh, that was
That was
Sanjay. I thought
Sanjay.
oh, you were toying with the idea of picking up his old
No, I
uh
convinced Sanjay to buy the Necton.
that's what it was. That's what it was. That's right. That's right. But what was the precipice? I mean, like, I never I don't know. I guess I never pictured you as a Seamaster kind of guy. What happened?
Yeah, I think once you actually like have this
Mm,
on wrist
hmm.
and like you feel it on wrist
Yeah.
and having owned the Submariner and you start sort of comparing them to the Submariner. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't do it. It's the sub's better.
Man, you had me go for a second.
The sub's better. I'm not gonna do that. That's the
Okay.
most ridiculous argument. Okay. Um, I think it's a special watch.
Hmm.
It looks so much different from the this sort of yawn Seamaster, which along with the Tudor Black Bay is probably which are the two most flipped watches in watch
Right.
groups.
Right. Right.
I liked the contrast that the tantalum, even though there's very little, there are like little accents of tantalum, but you can sort of see them in the center links, and
Hmm.
you can see the
Yeah.
the contrast with the set. The Senna sort of breaks up the titanium and the
Yeah.
tantalum sort of border, and I think the bezel is really tastefully done. It's not like your shiny ceramic diver that's kind of
Yeah.
almost getting cliche. It's a very like as it's as muted as red gold can be.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think it's very understated and refined.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean I like it.
How's that bracelet? I think for me aesthetically, I mean, it doesn't taper, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it was pretty
it's
comfortable for me. Like
uh,
I mean I haven't had a diver I think for the last 4 years in my
oh,
collection. I
that's
haven't had a
right. Yeah,
diver in the
it's
collection
true.
for 4 years. So
Yeah.
this is my first diver in the last 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. So well,
And we're
maybe
not
three
counting the
years.
Panerai as a diver, right? I mean, it's
No,
still
we're
your
not counting the
typical.
Panerai.
Okay.
There's no rotating bezel.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Panerai's Panerai.
Yeah. 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 It's a
Yeah.
different. Well,
So
congratulations, man. I mean, that's something was something sacrificed
yeah.
for.
So this is kind of I was thinking about like my long term sort of collecting plan.
Hmm.
I've got a big-ish piece coming in, and then I've
Hmm.
got an even bigger piece down the road. Like
Mm.
I've got something on a Cho time frame, where
Yeah.
you exchange money for vague promises from a
Yeah.
watchmaker. So
Yeah.
I've got those two things on the go.
Yeah.
So the IWC basically
Mm.
couldn't stay. And I
Hmm.
and I looked at it and I was like, my intermediate piece I had to probably trade in the IWC. So this came up for a very good price, and it was even money with the IWC. So I was
Hmm.
like, if I can do a straight trade of the IWC for this, I could probably extract more in
Mm.
trade value when I trade whatever piece,
Yeah.
whichever the two pieces for that intermediate piece.
Yeah.
So
I guess I was surprised and yet not surprised. I was surprised in the sense that you we touted that IWC last year when it came out. Like,
yeah,
it was one of the better releases. We as a collective group, we thought that.
it's
And
always going to be there though, and I
yeah.
and I think I overpaid. I paid too much for it. Like and I've seen what it goes for in the gray market, and I think it can only go down from there. So
Mm.
it's always going to be out there.
Yeah.
This way I get out of it. I avoid a bit of a cash crunch, and
Hmm.
if I want to add it down the road, I think I still can. And I like what they're doing with the pilot chronos as well. So
Yeah.
am I going to get back? I could always get back into a 43 big pilot, if I like a different colorway
Yeah.
or something like that. If they start doing different materials, I can always get back into that sort of exact same form factor with it has everything that I like about it.
Yeah.
Or I could like get something crazy, like a Lake Tahoe or like a Petronas or something like that.
Right.
So it's not that I fell out of love with the IWC. There was a collection crunch, and
Yeah.
I saw it leaving, and then I saw this as a sort of extracting potential trade value on the margins, kind of, you
Yeah.
know, and did that. And this is a watch that I've always kind of wanted to try out. So at least
Yeah.
I can say I've tried out both the Seamaster and the Submariner before I sort of tout the Yub. So
Yeah. Yeah. So and you brought up different materials, and you get that here. You get a little of that, right?
yeah,
With that Seamaster, right?
and I'm not a
Um,
fan of multi-tone, but I think this is going to join the kind of the bluesy and the Cartier Santos as kind of two-tone, like
yeah.
multi-tone done well.
Yeah. Is this now your Moser is that's white gold, right?
Platinum.
Or platinum, right? So
Yeah,
this is this your only um colored gold like in the collection? You
yeah.
don't
This
have a
is the
yellow.
first time I've owned a colored gold
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
I had the white gold Daytona.
Hmm.
I had the platinum Jorn, which I traded for the platinum Moser, which in retrospect is
No
not the
problem.
best trade money
Yeah.
wise. Um, but yeah, this is the first sort of anything with colored gold on it.
Yeah. No, excellent, excellent, and I'm happy for you, and I'm sure there'll come a time when you'll feel comfortable and let us know what the pieces that you have lined up in the future are. No pressure to do that now, of course, because it's early. But
It's way early.
yeah, it's way early. But when the time comes,
It's way early.
we look forward to you sharing what those pieces are. Anyway, moving on. Joe, good to see you, man.
Hello, sir.
It's been a
Good to see
while.
you. Yeah,
It's
nice
been
to
a
see you
minute,
guys.
yeah. I think the chat's gonna want a quick catch up with you. So first of all, what do you have on wrist?
It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick. Actually, had this on. Finally put this on again today. This is
Mm.
Oh,
the focus
oh no,
Felipe.
you're
Oh,
focused. You're good. I think you're good.
see,
Here's
this is
the
why I
Felipe.
don't show 'em new watches when Cho's on.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? this
Look at
this
that.
this one costing a fraction of your Seamaster, but yeah,
Oh, that's
because
stunning.
it's not real gold.
When
No
you tell the
tantalum
the
here.
the, the, the chat what is who's the watchmaker?
So this is the Felipe Pekulik
Hmm.
watch that took a few months. One of those things, and you have to throw out money
Yeah.
somewhere into Europe, and hopefully something comes back at some point. And
Right.
this this one came back after hanging out in customs for a while.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so 41 millimeter Unitas based
Hmm. Hmm.
thing that most of the work just kind of went into the dial and into the
Yeah,
movement bridge. So it's nice. It's like kind of an Amin kind of watch where
yeah,
it's like look at the anglage and stuff like that that I
yeah.
kind of underappreciate.
And if you guys in the description, I have Joe's Instagram account linked to it. So if you guys want to check out some cool pictures of his watches, he has them there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't posted this one
But
because
you will, right? You will soon, right?
it's
Oh,
technically I'm still kind of hiding it from my wife.
oh.
So, and she doesn't watch the stream. So,
Does she
Fair
follow your
enough.
Instagram though?
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough. You got in the nick of time with that because like right about when you were working the details of that watch with Philippe, I had reached out to him and he was telling me, oh yeah, like at least a
yeah.
year. Yeah, it's gonna be at least a year. So you snuck in right before like that time frame got really pushed out a lot for future clientele. And so good on you, man. That's awesome, man. Really, really happy for you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Anything else on the in the works?
Well, we'll see. Kind of like
Okay,
Marcus
okay,
said, he's just like,
fair enough.
we'll see if something comes in.
Okay, you
Chose
got
poor in money but rich in watch promises.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I got
The Young
the
Mariner.
yeah, yeah, Mariner. Let's say hello to the chat before we jump into it, guys. Peeping time. Hello, you're number one. You're first. Hiya, Bobby. Bobby is here. Bill K is here. Mr. Time Hill is here. Hey, Wayman is here. How you doing, Wayman? Hey, Deech is here. What's up, Deech? Wilson's here. James Duffy is here. How are you, sir? Um, Floriusum. Hi, all. Good to see you guys. Let us know what you're wearing on wrist or any new watches that you have lined up coming in. AZ Clayton's here. What's up, AZ? Um, hey, Nilo's here. What's up, Nilo? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. BJ's here. What's going on? Um, Chaz and Marcus. Yeah. Yeah, Wilson. Uh, Hey, checking in from Pittsburgh. There's Kensio. Uh, Jason, who else in top is on Topper's pre-owned page looking at deals right now? Well, Jay, I mean, like, you got to do that at noon Eastern. At noon Eastern, that's when the deals come up, you know.
Ah,
We're all chatting with each other. We're like, oh, you see what's coming on? Has anything look good? But we were talking,
wow.
a few of us were talking about that today. Um, and and we realized, why are we like so all like looking forward to Fridays at 12 o'clock for toppers, and they really have something good going there because I know I'm there. I know I'm like constantly refreshing the screen
Mhm.
and thought like, guys like Del Rey and these other brands, they should probably hold off their releases to one day a week and draw up the anticipation for that instead of like making these releases piecemeal during the course of the week. I think they could just drum up a lot more excitement and maybe that would help with sales if
All
they need help. I mean, I
all the
don't know.
good deals are probably gone by now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all the good deals are probably, look, I mean, like if you especially in the affordable range with toppers, like anything of $500 or below is gone now. I mean, I just looked. I mean, it's just like pretty much all gone. Um, Scott here, LOTR greater than House of the Dragon. LOTR? Am
I
I
think it's
missing
Rings
out?
of. They're not
Oh,
technically not
oh,
allowed to call themselves LOTR. I think they have to call it Rings of Power because they didn't buy the
oh.
rights to it.
Amin was saying that, and I don't know if it was you too, Marcus, or so, um, saying that, maybe it wasn't you, Marcus, but Amin was saying like, he started watching more of it and it's getting a little bit better.
I
Um,
agree. I haven't seen the fifth episode yet. I'm gonna get to that tonight after tonight. Yeah.
so you're pretty far along. See, I started watching the first episode and like got halfway through and I'm like, this is like not for me. But maybe I'll stick it out. I mean, I know Chaz, you're a real Tolkien fundamentalist.
I think it's worth sticking out.
Yeah, we'll nerd it up at the end of the show, guys. Don't worry about it.
We'll get to new releases. There are a lot of new releases to talk
Yeah,
about.
Yep, Nerio's here. How you doing, Nerio? Justin R is strapped in. A lot of fandom for Cho. Yeah, Cho bro. That's right. Junior Johnson is here all the way from Michigan. What's going on, Junior? Um, hey, Bobby's here. When a two-tone C master just won't do, what a watch. Um, let's see here. Mez9 is here. How you doing, Mez9? Uh, do the do, Brendan is here. What's going on, Brendan? Paul, how you doing, Paul? Good to see you. Um, Scrolling, and I think we hit up. Oh, there's Detroit Spartan. How you doing, buddy? I think we got everybody. Scott is here. I think I saw Scott before. He's wearing his Santos. Back to the Future Geek. How are you? Whole milk. Yeah, no 2%, no
Oh my
scam.
goodness. Did my wife just call out Cho and didn't call me out? I'm so mad now.
Wait, did I miss your? Oh, is this your wife? Back to the
Yeah,
Future Geek?
unbelievable.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you know that shout out kind of qualifies you as a watchmaker now, Marcus.
Uh,
That's what it.
Hans is here. How you doing, huh? Haha, yes, Marcus, it's me. Hi, Joe. Okay, let's get into um, new releases because, as Marcus had mentioned, quite a few new releases. Let me get
Yeah.
the right screen and we'll work ourselves from recent to oldest. Um, okay, I know we have the Moser in there. Any interest in talking about this code 1159? Just came out.
I
Um,
think we should talk about all of them as a joint release, right? Because as a
mhm.
collection. I gave AP a lot of high marks. I don't know whether we can find all of the watches together, but I think there were a lot of hits, to be honest. Um,
You
I
mean
think
you mean everything that they released other than the
they released five
1159s then?
watches right together on the same day. I think it was
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay.
'Cause
So
it's going to
keep
take
going,
a while
Marcus.
to
I was
go.
trying to
It's
find
going
it.
to take a while to go through all five of them, right?
Yeah. Um,
I'm just going to say that the streamliner, when you add colored accents to the edges, it looks terrible. I hate it.
Mm.
so you're talking about the Moser.
Yeah. If
Okay.
you want to start with the streamliner first.
Sure.
Aesthetically, bleh, don't love it.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard somebody call this kind of feminine looking, which is not a problem per se, um, but it is definitely interesting. Chaz, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, to me, the beauty of the Green Dragon is the connection of the whole unit, and that kind of breaks it up, putting that jeweled bezel on there.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it doesn't work for me aesthetically, like Marcus was saying. I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably a wonderful, you know, watch and everything. It's just to me that takes away from what makes that watch beautiful. It doesn't add to it; it takes away. So,
yeah.
Mm.
Cho?
Yeah, agreed. I actually I like it without the jewels because there's a lot of all the attention goes to the dial and the tourbillon
hmm
gauge, but the I guess the stones are pretty distracting and really the only element of color that pops, besides some of the gold
Yeah.
and brass.
But that's the only
Yeah.
way they can call it Bucherer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is a Bucher collab, so not well done though.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's something to be said about like, leaving something well alone. And I think here's an example of you got this collaboration and you're trying to do a little bit too much and it just doesn't work for me either. Um,
Yeah.
and it was $126,000, um,
hmm
pretty pricey. Um, Okay. Another code
Mm.
159 1159 chronograph. Marcus.
Um, I love it in theory. They put a lot of tech into it, but this is probably a brutally hard watch to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just that's like I'm all for open work, but this is a bridge too far for me. I don't care what they put into it. This is impossible to read.
What do you think would make it easier to read? Like a different handset, a contrasting color? Like what?
Yeah, it's like the hand. I think that the rose gold parts really stands out. Like it's the contrast between the rose gold and the black. But
Yeah.
then they decided to make the hands rose gold as well, and it just bleeds into sort of the rose gold parts of the open work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame because it is a
And
really
plus, it's a chronograph, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's a brilliant watch, but this is my least favorite of the 5 watches they released this week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get any other pictures here. Yeah, not doing any favors. Um, Joe, what do you think? I mean, is this something?
I think I agree on all levels with Marcus. Like
Yeah.
looking at it, it looks like this beautiful nest of pasta before you drop it into the water. It's just like it's a lot, you know.
Right.
Um, so it's pretty, it's a gander at, but it's hard to read. But again, and it just reminds me of how nicely skeletonized, other AP, like especially Royal Oaks, can be, because this one
Right.
is
Good point.
nicely done too, but it's too much stuffed into that package, I think.
Caliber was a pass on the Moser. Um, the bezel of the Moser makes it less streamlined.
True.
True.
Hmm.
Uh, but Florio some likes it. Um, Hans is saying just finished 120 bars of transcription from original C major to guitar friendly D major Bach. Okay. All right.
Nice.
Um, nice.
Very good.
Having more money would make it easier to read. uh, that's a good one. Just in our Bobby doesn't like it, and he's a Chrono guy. Yeah, I'm a Chrono guy. I didn't say that I didn't like it. It's just like it's hard to read, right? I mean, yeah,
I think if I had more money, I would. This is not the AP that I would spend that extra
eh,
money on.
yeah, agreed. Okay, let's get back here. Let me see if I can find those other APs right here. Okay. Um, the Tourbillon open work.
I
Okay,
love
so this
this.
is yeah, this is
I
more
love this.
legible. What? Yeah.
This is just stunning. I love it. I was torn
Oh
between which is
wow.
my favorite AP release. It was either this or the ceramic perpetual. Um, but I think this is the most. I think this is their most groundbreaking watch for release, because
Hmm.
the AP, it's just they took an all time great watch and they just slapped it blue ceramic instead of black and white ceramic. But this one, AP really went out, and they went out on a limb, and they created something new. They created something unique. They created something special. And here the legibility is much better. You can the the blue ceramic is gorgeous, and you can see the hands pretty well against the blue ceramic background.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Way 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 better, right?
Yeah,
Far more interesting. Um, you get a good view of the movement here, and the simplicity of it too, right? Um, there's no. I don't see any reverse shots, but I guess you don't need it.
you can see all the way through it.
You can see all the way through it, right? So,
Yeah,
um, just a really just an interesting piece. Chaz, what do you think? Do you like this more?
Yeah, that one I agree with Marcus on all of the both those versions.
Yeah.
The first one. I'm guessing the guy that buys the first one or girl probably don't value legibility as
Yeah.
much. They're just and or maybe it's one of those watches when you get it in your hand, it looks a little different. I don't know, but with this one, yeah, just the aesthetics I like better, and I trust that. I know Marcus knows what he's talking about. I don't know about all the technological stuff, but if he says so, I say so. So that's the way we go there.
200K. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
These
that's
are
why I've never really looked seriously at this one. It's a little out
Yeah,
of my range. Um,
I just saw it and I had to read about it though.
yeah.
yeah, spectacular.
Hobby Bobby bringing up a point here. So we can all now agree that the code has made it. Has the code made it? I had a rough start, right? A couple years ago when it got introduced, not people didn't like it.
Yeah, it's a nice canvas on which AP can sort of build out. So um, it's AP still the Royal Oak company though.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's be honest here.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, I think Hobby Bobby's onto something. I think the code is at least on the map. I'm still not a. I mean, I think those watches are nice. They just don't really do anything for me though. You
They're
know
too
what I
big.
mean?
They're too big.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Paul saying it's now acceptable. It was hated. Let's not get offshore. Let's not go offshore. LOL. Um, Time Hill thinks that the code has made it.
Maybe.
Um, Bobby saying feels like there's a reason 90% of AP sales are Royal Oaks. Oh, okay. Bobby not a big fan of the 11159. Fair enough. Okay. Um, let's see here. Is there okay? Let's just go through all the the APs.
Mm.
Um, Royal Oak Concept Flying Tourbillon in green ceramic.
I didn't love this one, to be honest. And to answer the question about the concepts, I think there's a reason why they're called concepts because they're cool in concept, but
Hmm.
in practice as a watch, a lot of them aren't great. Because these are like way oversized watches that are not meant to be um, you know worn in any specific size. This is more we're showcasing our latest tech and spec and all
Yeah,
that. And
right.
this is kind of a concept like just like concept cars, Halo
Car.
cars.
Hmm.
There's always something missing. Like it's cool in theory, but in practice, I don't love it. The
Yeah.
tourbillon isn't featured enough. Um, I don't like how they executed the GMT here. Yeah, don't don't love this one. I think probably this is fourth on the on out of the five for me, with the
Hmm.
chronograph coming last.
Yeah. I I I think I like it more than you do, Marcus. And it's probably because it kind of reminds me of a G-Shock. I don't know. But I mean, do you see that? I mean, I don't know if you're with me on that, Chaz. You're a G-Shock lover. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit for some reason. Um, but I do like it. And I think I do like it more than you, Marcus. I agree. The GMT functionality is not as pronounced. But I like that handset. I like the colors, and I like the way the tourbillon. I mean, I know it's not overtly showcased, but I think it's kind of cool at the 9 o'clock position. Chaz, what do you think?
Yeah, it's the way Marcus described the concept is exactly right. I mean,
Hmm.
it's over the top and it's meant to be. They're pushing a lot of innovation and technology in materials, I guess, and in the movement, but it's it's kind of a little bit I don't know, it's over the top in
Yeah,
every way,
yeah. It
but
reminds me of like a
incredible.
G-Shock and meets Gorilla Watch. You know what I mean? A little bit here. Cho, thoughts?
Um, I don't even read about these much. Besides, they're notable for their innovation, but I think I certainly like the style, and I think anyone
Yeah.
who gravitates towards that could find themselves very happy with like a pre-owned Linda Verdolin. or something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Very kind of similar wrist
Yeah,
presence. Yeah. Um, but it's cool. I just kind of look at them like, oh, that's neat. It's kind of like when Richard Mille makes a really thin watch. It's like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Easy clean by Grand Seiko Godzilla if you like the RO concept case and save a lot. Hobby Bobby agreeing with your assessment there, Joe. Barry Lind Verlin. Paul saying, I just want a 37 millimeter Royal Oak that wasn't built for the 1974 model year. Thanks, AP, in 2022. Now about an appointment, or an apartment. Paul going, that is so they don't know what to do with this. It's a Safari Hunter wannabes. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like the watch someone wears who opts to fly over the safari instead of driving through it. That looks terrible with a suit. Why would they take a picture of that with a suit? Okay. Okay, fair enough. And I think there was another one here. The full blue ceramic Royal Oak perpetual calendar. This is the one you were mentioning, right,
yeah.
Mm.
I
Marcus?
both love this and find it incredibly lazy because it's it. This is my favorite, one of my favorite all time watches with an all time favorite movement. It's it's got the Reno Papi perpetual calendar module in it. Um, that's there's a clear sort of lineage from the 1990s when AP was at its best. Um, I like the materials. I've always liked the Royal Oak form factor. It looks really cool in blue. But again, is it meaningfully different from the ceramic in white and black? No, they just slapped a different color on it. So that's why I both love the watch because it's exactly like the watch I loved before. But I also find it incredibly lazy. Let's put it in blue, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Good looking watch though, still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're looking at 200 grand probably if you can even get on a wait list.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. That's like the bluest watch I've ever seen. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is Smurf blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Smurf
totally
blue.
is. Yeah. Yeah, like Grumpy Smurf is like wearing this. Was there a Grumpy Smurf? There was a Grumpy Smurf, right?
Yeah.
Wealthy
Okay.
Smurf. I think wealthy Smurf
Yeah,
would
well,
definitely get
sorry.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Somehow gets on all the lists. Smurf gets
Oh, that's not bad.
129,000.
129.
Okay,
That's a
If
bargain.
I
not bad.
sold some watches, could I make it happen?
Yeah.
If I sold all
Uh,
my watches, could I make it happen?
Homeoka saying, "I'll wait for the Mojave Desert Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar." Um,
I'd have to see it. I think it might look cool, but it could also look really bad. It depends on the form factor. Like you have to see it. You can always talk about hypotheticals, but I don't think every color is going to show up well on that Royal Oak bracelet kind of form factor.
okay, here's one, Marcus, that I know you really liked, and that was the Habring and Messina Lab Chronofelix collaboration. Uh, you were thinking about this, weren't you?
I was thinking about it, but then I was like, I can't support Messina, but it's really cool.
But you know what? I gotta tell you, I think I've every Habring Messina collab, I've
Has been so good,
I've been it's just so good,
so
and
good.
it's because I think Habring's, Habring, they make a great, Richard makes a great watch, right? We
Yeah,
know that, right? With the movement and whatnot, and the workmanship there, but the designs are a little plain, right? You know, at least for most of the models, and so when he does these collabs with like Messina Labs, for example, um, I think they look really, really good, and it's maybe because I'm just so used to much more of a plain kind of like a look from them. Joe, you're a Habring owner. What do you think
Yeah.
about this collaboration?
I I kind of have the same bad taste in my mouth
Mm,
when missing is involved. And I don't know. I don't hate it. I like it a lot. Um, but I think at this case size, 38.5 around, and it has, these, the bezel takes up a lot of real estate on this watch in particular. I think this black one might look pretty small on the wrist versus the other one that they came out with, which is not the Messina collab. So it'll be a regular edition, the salmon dial. Um, and that one, so it doesn't have his involvement, but it does have the involvement of Lee Rapati, the 1 hour watch guy, the guy who designed the Kadoki Zodiac
mm,
watch. So and I like his work, and that one's not going to be a limited edition. And as a salmon dial, I think in the same case size, it might have a nicer look on the wrist, and it has Breguet numerals on it, so a little more classic, which I like with the hands there. So I
yeah,
think the salmon dial version of this perpetual, I'm really kind of thinking hard about.
I have
yeah.
serious FOMO with this piece.
Mm,
But I also didn't like being pushed it by like being forced by this being a limited edition, and you've got to
yeah,
like give them money and accept a promise, and I can only do one of those types of watches at once.
yeah. No,
But
no,
I
I
Yeah.
hear you.
I think this will probably be the most bulletproof, reliable, easy to service perpetual calendar you can buy.
Right.
So if anyone's considering buying it, I would encourage you, if you've got the money to please buy it. But it looks great. It's just I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah. I think for me, Chaz, and I'd like to hear what you think about this too. I think for me, the size is an issue. It's small, and there's a lot going on there,
Hmm.
and I feel that if my El Primero that I had, which was 38, and I felt like that was too small, especially what was going down on with the dial. Like I know this I would have the same issue with this, even though like in theory or in pictures or in renders, I love it. I love this look. It's just it's too small. What do you think, Chaz?
Yeah, same. I
Yeah.
really liked it. I thought it was, I'm a little hesitant on the Cena Labs also, but um, I thought this was good. I
Mm,
thought the dial was a little bit crowded, maybe
mm,
because of the size.
mm.
I would have loved to have seen it. Obviously, if I was a buyer, I'd love it at 41, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just me,
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I thought it was good.
yeah. And Marcus makes a great point here. There's a lot of bezel here
Yeah,
too, right? So, it's yeah,
a lot of bezel. I think Cho brought that up.
yeah,
But about the movement, I think Marcus is right. If you want a
yeah,
perpetual calendar, um, that would be a wonderful
yeah,
Like
route to go.
Hmm.
if you're thinking about buying it, you think I mean you can get into the Cho mindset. You pay 7 grand now, and then you pay what 17 when it's ready next in 2 years. Like
yeah,
that's a long time. Like
yeah, yeah,
17
Yeah.
spread over 2 years.
yeah.
Like
You get
you
a
forget about the first seven you sent them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That money's all gone. I mean, it's a nice soft landing, right? It's a soft landing. It's a soft $17,000 landing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like a balloon mortgage.
yeah, yeah, right. Um, um, Amin not liking the Messina, thumbs down, but he loves the salmon dow. Hobby Vibe was saying Justin R said it best. It's hard to see the Messina in this collab. Hmm. Um, yeah, Joe, you just said no red pusher. Like what the F, right?
Yeah. Do
Salmon
it
was better.
myself.
And I think when
Positive
you have
75
black,
million.
like you have to do the red pusher, right? With the
You
black
do.
dial. I feel like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to.
yeah, yeah.
It's like it's almost like a film noir sort of aesthetic, and then you add the red pusher, and then it's like
Wow.
just to
Mm.
get that.
Yeah, I mean, this look, it could use a splash of red here for sure.
Yeah,
It's very monotone, I feel.
yeah. It's like a gritty like detective movie, like a film noir, and then you just add a splash of red
Yeah,
just for the violence.
and then somebody smokes a cigarette, and then it's like
Yeah,
Alfine. Yeah, gotcha.
there you go.
Um, Easy Clean, the Harbor Perpetual over the Klaus IWC JLC. Clayton's liking those other ones
The,
potentially,
the,
but I think Marcus's point was the serviceability and
yeah,
the ease of it. And
like keep in mind that the perpetual calendar in the JLC it's groundbreaking, but it's also very delicate. So
mhm.
I trust Habring over the Klaus perpetual. I trust this over it.
Javi Wally wants to hear Marcus your take on the stuffed bezel.
I like it. I'm not an industrial design guy. I like it. I don't really have a good explanation.
Hmm.
I'm not very articulate, so I like it.
BJ looks like a 36 millimeter dial in a 38 millimeter case. The single pusher makes it look odd just because we're so used to seeing them in pairs.
But doesn't the Felix always have like a single pusher anyway?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I was like, I just don't like Messina. The watch is great. Um, hey, Tennessee
Hey,
Mike, how you
Tennessee
doing?
Mike.
Um, yeah, red chronograph hand would be a nice touch. It's a future classic. Florio-san saying it here. Mark his words. Um, James is saying they could have made the pusher stem red as a nod, but they didn't. Um, Art Deco bezel. All right, so let's do let's see if there's any more releases before we get into Hot D. Um, Anything else here, guys, that we're not really that Rado we can skip, right? Anybody want to make fun of this piece right here?
No.
No, the Nevada with the snowflake in the middle. No one.
We were talking about
Mm.
this in our group chat, and how on the Canadian Watch forums there was like a Nevada Grenchen perpetual calendar. It was like for, I think it was like $5,000 US, and I was like, I don't know whether this is the worst deal ever or the best deal ever. I can't.
Okay. Um, a lot of releases, and
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll catch up to them. Um,
Oh, I'm just gonna pipe up real quick here, Bob,
yeah.
because you clicked on it first and we didn't
Oh,
mention anything about it. But I think that 1159 Onyx,
oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
yeah,
We can
that's
get
my
to that.
favorite. That was so nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that kind of
So,
watch makes me forget about anything Moser does with Vanta Black.
Mm.
I definitely agree. I
mm,
prefer Onyx to Vanta Black too, and I think this is just really elegant. Yeah, I like the two blue, and then this one, and then the concept, and then the chronograph. This
interesting,
is really well done.
interesting strap pairing, no?
Yeah,
Um,
I
Hmm.
don't love it. I
for
think you
for
can
something so elegant, right? I mean, like that. What is that? That's like a little like nylon type strap there, right?
I
I
think
mean,
Yeah.
you can sort of get away with it because of how the case is big. Like this is not a conventional dress watch case, right? It's really big. It fills the wrist. It's almost like business casual as opposed to pure dress.
yeah.
It's just kind of that space that it occupies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Moser as well, right? The newer Mosers like the Endeavor case and all that. You can run it on Kudu. You don't have to run it on a conventional like calf or gator or something like that. It can be a little bit distressed, a little bit
Mm,
informal.
mm,
Yeah.
That's why I see
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I think that case form, that informal strap, and even the inner chapter ring with the numerals on it, kind of reminding me of like a DB like Stradivarius or something. It
mm,
gives kind
mm-hmm.
of
Yeah,
that more modern vibe.
Yeah. I still think I would switch out the strap though. Maybe go with something like a high gloss black crocodile or alligator. Um, anyway.
It
Um,
looks like that looks like maybe a wrist candy TGV strap. Um,
uh, yeah, pretty watch. I like
Beautiful,
it.
gorgeous.
I like it. 146,000. You know, whatever, whatever. Um,
I
Hans
did.
question. Oh yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
surprised they priced that above the ceramic
Oh
Royal
yeah,
Oak.
that That's a
That's
good point.
surprising.
Yeah, interesting. Question to the panel: is there ever an acceptable dress watch you can wear with a suit with a rubber strap?
Yeah, I would wear Amin's Marine, Brigade Marine on the. It has a nice rubber strap, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Better than the bracelet.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Um, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
Um, Bill,
I
K,
can't
what
think
about
of
Mr.
any.
Holder?
I can't think of any right
Oh,
now.
sorry, that's not a dress watch. My bad. Yeah.
But look, I know it's a sporty piece, but you can I mean I would you can rock that with a suit for sure. I can rock any watch with a suit, I guess. But I mean like that Brigham Marine, I think
Yeah,
that's
it's kind of
very
dressy for a
it's
dive.
like
Yeah.
as dressy as a dive watch or a sports watch as you can get. Um, Nautilus? Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, okay, we're gonna get now right into everybody's favorite part of the stream where we actually talk about the House of the Dragon. Yes, the Watch Talk stops here temporarily, folks, and we're gonna talk House of the Dragon. We have our experts
Oh,
here,
guys,
Chaz from the Berg.
sorry, I haven't seen any of these,
Yeah,
and my mom is calling me,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I might listen to you guys offline.
Okay. All right. Well, say hello to Mrs. Cho for us.
Yeah, thank you. Just here
Eh,
to hang out for the watch talk and
yeah,
steal
yeah. Or I mean,
Marcus's
you can
wife.
still hang out and just like peruse watches online
Oh,
while we. But whatever. It's up to
okay,
you. It's
I'll
up
go
to
on
you.
mute. I'll go on mute.
Okay. Okay. No
Congratulations on the
pressure.
new watch, Cho.
Yeah.
You too,
We're all
Congratulations.
so
Marcus. Me
jealous.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, hot D and cookies. Okay, so we start off with uh, Damon. Damon. Oh, I can't get these names. He's at the Vale. Well, you see this woman riding a horse in the Vale, and it's Damon's, and you finally get to meet Damon's wife. So, guys, what's going on here, right? What he's going to see his wife that he hasn't seen, I guess, in a really, really long time. And what are you thinking here, right? I mean, I know Chaz, I know you know what's coming, and so do you, Marcus, because you guys are very astute and learned about
they
these things.
they changed it up though, didn't they, Marcus? In the
Yeah.
source
They
material, that
they
she
moved the
just
timeline around a bit.
yeah, well, and she just the source material said she fell off her horse and kind of had an accident and then died later. But the show kind of um, made this Damon encounter. So the question is, did he go there to kill her? Um, you could argue he was just there to have a talk. Um,
So what's the purpose there of killing her, right? I mean, like, is he trying to make himself because in a previous episode when he offers to marry Rhaenyra, when he offers that to the king is like, instead of his reaction being like, wait a second, you're her uncle. We know that family line they do some crazy things, right? His first reaction was like, you're already married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So so Runestone is probably not another not a castle that someone would want to inherit or like wait it out. And this is someone that he was forced to marry when he was much younger, right? So
Right,
um, that's he wants to be single. That's that's where we're at,
right,
and he
right.
can make a much more advantageous marriage. When
Hmm.
he married her, he was much further down the line of succession
Right.
than he is now. So he's a much bigger catch.
Okay. Well, fair enough. All right. So then, um, and help me out with the timeline here. I forget what was actually happening next. Was it the old former hand of the king leaving King's Landing and is confronted or not confronted, but his daughter Allison comes out and then says, "Hey, didn't get to say goodbye." And then they have this little altercation here, and he kind of like is predicting something that might be happening down the road, right, guys?
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, though. It's like he's saying they won't accept her, and then there's going to be a war. And it's like there's only going to be a war if you guys start the war,
Right, right,
right?
right, right, right.
So again, this entire potential war is fabricated on presumptions, right? You've got Otto who's planning to start a war, saying that you can't have her be the heir because there's going to be a war that I'm probably going to start, and then you've got Rhaenys saying there's probably going to be a war just to kind of sate her own ego because she was not accepted as queen. So that I think there's a little bit of um, self-interest in both of them, one cognitively and one sort of politically.
Yeah.
And keep in mind those are the two big players, right? Those are probably the two most those are the two most savvy political operators, Rhaenys and Otto, in the books. I think everyone else, like those two, are probably the smartest, most astute game players of the Game of Thrones.
Right. Right. It feels, Chaz, that a lot of stuff is really getting like telegraphed to us, right? Like we're like, it's kind of like less of a guessing game, especially for someone who hasn't read any of the books, right? It feels like it feels like things are getting predictable here, though, right? I mean, we see the king, going to Corlys and his wife, and trying to arrange the marriage between Rhaenyra and their son, and then we find out about their son, not being really interested in Rhaenyra in that way, and then they make some sort of like kind of like agreement where they can just do their own thing, and as long as they produce heirs and whatnot. And they seem to be very, very happy with that arrangement, although we find out later on that their, um, I guess, bows are really not into that kind of arrangement, or at least maybe not, um, Rhaenyra's. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Mrs. Legs is here. Why is everyone on the show so sexist and homophobic, but no one's a racist?
Excellent point.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
I'm
good
not
question,
sure.
Mrs. Good question, Mrs. Legs. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
I think, but they are right. Like I think that that there is, because they're always they're all I don't think there are black people in Westeros. Um, so and they're all already like prejudiced against the Dornish, who are sort of different, right? They're Rhoynar versus Andal or First Men. So there are three distinct races, and um, they value them differently, right? And obviously the Targaryens are viewed as a different race as well. So there is a bit of sort of, if not a race system, there is kind of a almost a caste system, right?
Hmm,
Going on.
yeah.
Anyway, Yabi, I've got to duck out. So
Okay.
you and Chaz
Okay.
enjoy the rest of Hot
Yeah.
D.
Okay.
I will point out though that I 100% believe that if Damon had given the same proposition to Rhaenyra that Kristen did, she would have said yes.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
believe
I
that
think you're right.
100%.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
All right. Well, there goes Marcus. Um, we have successfully went down from maybe 50, 60 people on the stream to to have that.
We know how to weed them out. You know
We
what I mean?
know.
It's not everybody can hang on. What you got to do one of these times is go up to the show, be really hard on watches, and
Yeah.
then hit on Hot D and watch them leave, and then you
Yeah.
give away something at the very end for those who stay.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
need to do. People come back the next week and say, "When'd you do the giveaway?" So we did it after the
So,
Hot D stuff.
yeah, yeah, you missed out
Yeah,
on the Seiko giveaway.
yeah, you missed out. You missed out.
Scott saying my biggest complaint about House of Dragon is how little world building there is. Um, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. I think it's still very early on. I mean, again, I have never read any of the House of Dragon, so I don't know what's gonna play out. But that is an interesting point, Scott. And but I also think it's still kind of early on, right? In the series, and who knows how long this will go.
But you
Um,
know, the lesson you learned some lessons from this show, like Kristen. You know, don't catch feelings, man. Don't catch feelings.
yeah,
It's just not gonna. It's not gonna be good for you. You know. Here he is. You know, pouring out his heart, and she's just wanting to, have a good time. And
yeah,
you know, and look, I like, I like fried chicken. You like shrimp parm.
right,
You
right,
know,
yeah,
and people like different things.
yeah.
So
Mrs. Legs is on fire here. Isn't it also weird that 200 years earlier, uh, and there was no progress? Same clothing, same tech. Yeah, I mean, like, look, Mrs. Legs has brought this up, several times to me over the course of the last couple of weeks, and look, from like Roman times, right, up to like 1800, I mean, there wasn't much, advancement, right? You know, there was a couple of plagues, a couple of like, inquisitions here and there. You know what I mean? Like, not until you got into the Industrial Revolution of the 18th century, 19th century, do you actually see, a lot of progress in technology, in wages, right? You know what I mean? So like sometimes it takes a long time, Mrs. Legs. I don't know. What do you think about that, Chaz?
you could even argue that there was more technology before. You could go back to ancient Valeria, where they evidently had a lot of things that didn't get carried over. Um, so you could almost argue that they regressed some. Um, not only did technology not advance, they may have gone backwards.
Hmm.
Um, it's
Hmm.
kind of it depends on your view. I know I've seen different theories about this, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you can look at this story and it doesn't kind of translate everything rationally.
Yeah.
Um, there's a well, first of all, they've got dragons that fly, and so that kind of puts it in a different world.
Yeah, when you have dragons that
Uh,
fly, you're comfortable. You're not going to try to like, come up with new stuff. You're not going to come up
right.
with
I
a
mean,
jet plane.
you've got these weapons of mass destruction that are
Yeah.
bonded just to you
Yeah.
that allow you to dominate everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's why in this, everybody basically that doesn't have dragons really and truly would love to have nothing more than the ones who do have dragons be gone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the overarching thing about this whole. You've got all these different groups who, even though they may show allegiance, if they don't have a dragon, they would much rather all the dragon be gone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens with this. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you
And,
look at
and
this show, you will see some stuff like why didn't they advance? Like
yeah, yeah.
you got
Well, I would say that Chaz, like, like we just, I mean, like, in Egyptian times, like when, in prior to thousands of years prior to Christ, right? The Egyptians, were like probably like the forefront, of innovation, in those times. And the pyramids were all the same. They built the same pyramids for 6 or 7 thousand years. There was no new pyramid technology, that was made. And perhaps, look, perhaps if things had worked out for those early Egyptians and they were able to continue on for, into modern times, maybe we would see a better pyramid, or you know what I mean? But like, they had the right formula. It worked for them, and no new pyramids for 6,000 years. You know what I mean? So like, I think like technology and progress, sometimes takes longer. We look, I mean, like when my mother was born, right? There was no electricity, right, where she lived, right? They lived
oh,
in a
I thought
in
you
a
were going to say in general there was no electricity. I
no, no,
thought,
no, 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 no,
wow.
no, 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 no. Just where she lived, just where she lived in Puerto Rico, right?
Okay.
When she grew up,
Yep.
right? And there was like propeller planes. Like she was born in 32, right? You know what I mean? Like the technology in the last like 80 years of her life went from like, she's, wearing no shoes and no electricity and going to school, walking 2 or 3 miles a day, to like coming, to the end of life where like, you have a phone that you can carry
Hmm.
with you, that you can, right? I mean, and then, you have like jet planes, you know what I mean? So like only recently have we experienced this,
Yeah.
the rest of the history of the world, the advancement wasn't as quick, so I think Mrs. Legs is being a little hard on the writing here. um, you know anyway, that's what I'm
I think
sure.
she's looking at this in a intellectually consistent way,
Yeah.
but sometimes you know this those things those laws don't kind of translate
Right,
evenly.
right,
You know.
right, right. Right. I mean, even like with the Lord of the Rings and the elves. I mean, the elves lived what's the average lifespan of an elf?
Well,
And
they're
then
immortal unless they get killed in battle or have some. They don't die.
yeah.
So,
And like
uh,
how has did elf technology change in that and their immortal lifetimes?
well,
Probably
they're
not. I mean,
probably not as. Uh, in fact, it was much slower because they didn't have to be in a hurry. You know, they
right.
the
Right.
innovation started when men came on the scene because their lifespans were so short. They had to
Yeah.
be creative.
Yeah.
Elves didn't have to get in a hurry. If it takes 10,000 years to build, so what? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that gives us something to do.
Yeah.
You
Must be
know,
nice to be an elf, I guess.
right,
Um,
right.
we're down to 28 people on the stream.
Good, good. We can,
We can
we
get
can,
whittled down to one.
we can take this down. We can start talking about WWE wrestling. You know, but we'll start talking about old reruns of Friends or something.
Yeah.
Clear this
W-
place right out.
no, well, Mrs. Legs will stay for that. She loves Friends. We could talk
Okay.
about WNBA.
Yeah.
Um, all right. I think I'm in trouble. Okay. Anyway, Chaz, thank you so much for joining me tonight,
Always a pleasure.
and chat. Thank you for hanging in there and
You guys are
indulging
the
us
best.
at the end here. I promise next week, no hot tea talk. Probably. Um, maybe. Anyway, guys, have a great night. See you on Tuesday and take care.
See you guys.